Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the CEW podcast. Now, I'll keep it real. I have recorded this maybe 3 times already. Every single time OBS decided to mess up, I have now hopefully fixed it. I gave it a little test run last night, so it should be all good to go. But welcome to the podcast, welcome to episode 10, and we're just going to roll right into the update section. Now, there isn't really much. It's basically just going to be talking about how I'm feeling with the shorter content, which is the big talking point for this month, and, you know, it's the big talking point for this podcast. I'm enjoying the short form content. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people follow me for the longer form, the weekly show format and stuff, and that's fine. You know, I'm not asking people to change their viewing habits and change what they enjoy just so that they can continue to support me. That's never what it's been about. You know, I felt like I just needed to make the change, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on in the podcast. But yeah, I think it's, you know, we did well in June. I'm a little bit stumbling over my words because I'm just trying to think of things here. Did really well in June. Fight Forever blew up. I think it is genuinely the fastest growing pay-per-view, I think, of all time in terms of CEW, which is really, really sick, and something I wasn't necessarily expecting until it actually happened. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's a good pay-per-view. I don't know if it's like the best pay-per-view we've ever done. Maybe after we do a couple more, I might revisit the old tier list type deal, and I might do that on the podcast. I don't know. It's kind of like a thing that we can do to see if my opinion on the pay-per-views has changed at any point since last year. But you know, I enjoyed Fight Forever. I enjoyed working on it. I think it was a really, really good show. I know some people were expecting a lot more twists and turns. I just wanted it to be just a straight up pay-per-view, really, with like one kind of like big thing being the return of Sky Simmons and all of that. Because obviously we have Infamous and Invictus that we're building up to. Infamous being the all-women's pay-per-view, and Invictus being the predecessor of arguably the greatest CEW pay-per-view of all time in Invictus 2021. Let's just say when it comes to Invictus, I am very much dreading making that, because I know I'm gonna beat myself up about it because I want it to be very, very good. Some of the draft up card is looking really, really good. I think it is genuinely going to be at the same caliber of Invictus 1, maybe even better, but we will see. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I definitely think we have something there with that card. And I'm just going to kind of talk about what you might see in July. I'm going to try and get content to you guys as frequently as possible. It's not always possible. You know, I don't have any commitments, but obviously, you know, I'm trying to get out there a bit more socially, so I want to, like, hang out with friends a lot more, because it's the summer, and, you know, once September rolls around, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to, you know, socialize, etc., so it's, definitely gonna be about managing my time between doing this and hanging out with friends and whatnot. Again, I'm going to try and get content out to you guys as much as possible. No word on when the next pay-per-view is going to be for either EPW or CEW. I will say it is looking likely that, probably EPW by design will be the next pay-per-view on the network, so keep an eye out for that. EPW by design, looking like a really, really good card as well. So I think we're just going to move on to the big talking point of today, and that is, usually I do core talk, but with having to record this like 5 or 6, like 3 times at this point, we're just going to go ahead and just go to the bigger questions. It's going to be a bit of a shorter podcast, I reckon. Why did I scrap Mayhem and Xplosion? So, you're probably all quite confused, a little bit shocked, unless you're in the Discord and in, like, my sort of circle, I guess. Because I've been dropping hints and just kind of blatantly outright said it a few times. The main reason why I'm doing this, and it's just, again, it all boils down to, come September, I will just never have the time to sit down and work on an hour-and-a-half video, when I could, you know, if I have a spare hour or two, I could probably record a video, edit it, commentate it, and then get it uploaded, and then at least that's some form of content to you guys. It literally just boils down to time, and I also think it makes for an interesting story, with the whole Byron stuff. So there's a kayfabe and there's a non-kayfabe reason for that. In the sense that, you know, I feel like I was always planning on having Byron get fired as CEO around about this sort of time, because, you know, I'm not going to spoil anything or say anything in particular, but, you know, I do have my reasons for that. And so I was like, well, how can I signify that there is a change? And I thought, well, why don't we get rid of Mayhem and Xplosion? Why don't we just make it so that it feels like it's just now just CEW once again? Because that's what it used to be in 2019. So I feel like with the fact that we had the big 5-year anniversary of Fight Forever, and now we're going back to our roots with just CEW, I think that's like a really, really cool thing. Obviously, you know, we're not doing like hour-long videos anymore, like an hour-and-a-half videos. You might see like 1 or 2 of them every now and then. I like the idea of potentially like collating a couple matches or maybe like a couple segments and just putting them together as like a quote-unquote like sort of big show. It would always have like some sort of themes, like open fight night, grudge matches, that kind of thing. Just something that, you know, is a little bit different, and, you know, something that people can maybe get a little bit more hyped about. But do not expect to see those, like, longer shows be quite frequent. I have my ideas for one. I don't know if it's going to be before Infamous or Invictus. I feel like it kind of has to be in terms of what it's called. But then again, you don't really need to, because I have a workaround that I could definitely do if I wanted to do that. But anyways, let's talk about the weekly shows. I love doing them. You guys know this. I have talked about this podcast after podcast. I love the weekly shows, man. It allows me to be way more inventive, but like I said, when you're taking like a month, 2 months to work on an episode, I can't do that anymore. I can't in good conscience do that. And if that's how it is when I have quite a lot of free time, how long is it gonna take when I barely have any free time left? I don't know. So I thought about it and I was like, let me just scrap it now, so that then come September it's not rushed. At least I can add a little bit of story to it, and I can make it feel like a big thing. I'm glad to see that no one has kind of reacted negatively about that. As always, my worry is like, are people just going to be like, no, this is awful, why are you scrapping the weekly shows, kind of thing. And like, I would completely understand that outrage, but luckily I think I haven't had anything like that, and I think a lot of people can kind of understand it from my position. I just lay it out. I'm a 20-year-old dude just about to go to university for his degree. I don't have as much time as I did 3-4 years ago to just sit there and work on a video game wrestling company. I still love this, and I'm still going to do this up until, like I always said, until my ending, until, I have that finish, that finale that I'm happy with, and I can go off into the sunset, and that'll be it for me. And but for now, things have to be done in order for me to get things out to you guys still. Depending on when this comes out, I'm thinking, because I'm recording this on the 4th, which you guys will have already seen an all-day championship segment, something I literally worked on in about a day, I think it was. It didn't really take me all that long. You'll see that, and then maybe in like a day or two, I'm thinking maybe the Thursday, you'll see this, and then I'm thinking Saturday and maybe Sunday you might see some stuff, so keep an eye on the community tab, and if you have it, keep an eye on Twitter and Discord for any sort of like updates regarding that. But basically, it just comes down to, I want to do more, and I have less time to do it, so let's just not make it this daunting thing of let's do a 2-3 hour, like, show every, like, week. Let's do smaller videos so I can get more out, because I can tell you, I have a lot of videos in reserve, that require just me commentating them, or me editing them, or whatnot, so there's quite a lot of content coming out, like, soon. And I hope that you guys are, I hope you guys continue to tune in to all of that. So that was the podcast. It is shorter. I apologize. OBS just made it so this has been a bit of a slog to get through. But that was the podcast. I've been Byron. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next time.